Okay, so actually, I did find a list of questions that one of our very special listeners had sent us before. His
Great.
name is Senji on Discord, but I think he's Daniel Cook, his real name.
Ah,
And so we've got a big list of questions to go through there, and we can pick and choose what we want out of it. But for just right now, let's go ahead and go through the chat right now and see what we have so far.
Let's do, I mean, there seems to be a lot of questions here. Why don't we do kind of like a speed round where we are switching, like we're not all saying the same, answering the same question. We're just kind of
okay.
rotating on different questions.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah.
Cool, yeah. So this was
Oh,
that
okay.
was the very first question.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we can all answer this one. Yeah.
Okay,
For
great.
all of
You want to lead us off, Jeff?
yeah, for all of you, your favorite character you voiced and why? Jesus. Quantum Hughes. I just can't. I can't pick anybody else. Like there are so many great voices I've done that I love, but Quantum Hughes is still my favorite, just because the way that Harmon wrote him was just so clever. He's so speedy and quick witted, and also just taking that affectation, taking that personality that I do not have at all. Right, like the East Coast sort of the East Coast,
Laissez
uh,
faire,
yeah, kind of.
chill,
Well, no,
whatever.
he's not chill. He's not chill at
Oh,
all.
no?
He's manic, right? And he's
Okay.
impatient and ready to kill anything that gets in his way. But also just smarmy and always mouthing off to everybody. I mean, it's just fun to be that guy. So yeah, easily Quantum Hughes for me.
All right, Gary.
I would say right now of the characters that I voiced that stayed in a book, probably Ott from the Anura Rising series. He's the kobold. He's the little German kobold. But of ones that eventually got replaced by an actress would be Shiva from Adventure Academy 2 Metamorphosis, because she talks like this. I'm a god, which I just really enjoyed doing during the book. But I mean, it's always fun doing
It
the
is. It
silly
is.
placeholder audio. But yeah, I like doing the. It's like it's a voice I've not really done much. The Ott the Kobold one, so I enjoyed getting to do him, do his
German.
voice, and him.
Yeah. Sorry, nice. Both at the same times, maybes. Yeah, my favorite has to be it wasn't a sound booth theater production, but it was a reboot by Afterlife Online by Domino Finn. And
That was the
it's
book we were up for together.
that was the book we were up for together.
Nice.
No, it was fun. It's such a fun project. It was but the character in question is Kyle. Kyle is like the kind of bumbling sidekick who's like starts off, he's like, he's dead, he's in this video game, he doesn't really care, he just wants to drink and like play beer pong and stuff, play Call of Duty too. But then he gets roped into this big, like, you know, worldwide arc, and he's got to follow along, and then by the end of the series maybe he's a little bit more into it. But so I just got to do this like frat boy voice for the whole time, and just it felt right, you know. It
Nice.
really, I feel like I missed out on that side in my real life, so getting that out of my system just it soothed something in me.
Yeah. All
Very
right.
nice.
Next question.
Next question.
All right, so this is Daniel Cook, who was the guy who gave us the big list of questions in case we run out. So this
Okay.
is probably on that list. Do you usually read the entire book and get a feel for the characters before beginning narration, or just jump in and go for it? Personally, that's how I started off, is reading the entire book and investigating the characters and testing out their voices before I even got in the booth. And I probably did that for my first 75 to 100 books. But then I started this company and I started running out of time, and so I had to
Get
be
there.
like, "Fuck, man, I just gotta throw it in there and go." And it was at that point I discovered that I can actually cold read pretty well. But I kind of got a big head about that. I kept going. I kept skipping the pre-read until I finally like got back to a series where I was like always definitely pre-reading because I just love the book so much. And I discovered when I got back in the booth just how much better my performance is when I pre-read. Like
Yep.
it's significant. It's much more significant than I first than I was allowing myself to believe when I stopped pre-reading. So I'm back to pre-reading, and I'm glad I am. Even though it does take more time, it's worth it. So
You need to at least know what's going to happen, who's going to come up, because they could have maybe not so much in sound booth because a lot of it is quite fantasy based sometimes, but there's every now and then you read a straight romance book or something, and it'll be like at the end of the book it'll say he said in his distinct northern English accent, and for the entire book you could have played this person American or something else. So personally, I don't pre-read. I have someone do it for me, and they write out chapter synopses, they write out character descriptions, so I know everyone in the book, I know exactly what's going to happen, which helps me because, like Jeff, like when you're lucky enough to be working a lot and busy, there's no time. There's no time to do a great job at the pre-read as well as do a great job. It just, I don't know. You'll be working 24/7. I think you wouldn't sleep.
It's a really smart system what you've created with your pre-read person, because it can really slow you down too. I find I pre-read some of my books, and some it depends on the timing. Sometimes I can get a pre-read in, and I love that. That's my preference, because one of my favorite parts of producing is chatting with the authors, like reading this book that was birthed from the minds of these really creative people, and then being able to talk to them about it and be like, okay, like what's the vision here? What do you want to do? How do we want to voice this character and that? I love that. When you don't do that, like if it's in a series, like a lot of the stuff we're working on are series, so we know the characters for the most part. There aren't going to be too many big surprises, but it can slow us down when we get to a pronunciation that we don't know, and we're like, shit, I don't know this pronunciation. I've got to flag it. You take a second to flag it, and then go on. But then you've got to go back to the author and then potentially go back and fix it. It's a mess that's completely avoided if you pre-read. So that is my preference, but on some series, it's not as necessary as others.
And sometimes there are words you can't pronounce, and you say, "Author, you made up this word. How do you say it?" And they say, "I don't know. I just made it up."
That's the most infuriating thing to me. It's like, why did you make it up if you don't even know?
It's the main character's name. I don't know. Maflongalonga. I don't know.
It just looks good on paper. What?
Yeah. It's elfish, dwarvish. I don't know.
All right. So what is next after Daniel Cook? Gary Simmons. Where do babies come from? Okay, back to Gary's games.
Gary, you should know. You should tell us about this one, please, Gary.
Well, actually, funnily enough, Emily Labus told us a story of where babies come from earlier today. They come from the shoulder, and they are injected into your shoulder by the doctor.
Yeah.
And you're required to say, when it happened, it's beautiful. So yeah, babies are injected by a trained medical professional into your shoulder and are birthed via the nostril.
Yes.
Right. Common misconception that it's birth.
Biology, people.
Yeah. Next question. We are professionals. We know these things. Luke Harding says, "How did lockdown affect your work and recording?" Not at all.
Not at all. We isolate for a living.
No, that's not true. At Sound Booth Theater, we had some really amazing recording plans for projects like Deep Madness, and other deep dives that we put on the platform, and we were all going to get together in Kansas City and record.
No, in New York.
We were going to go to freaking New York. In April or some such.
It was April. We were gonna go record for Earth Force,
and it hit Earth Force. That's right. Yep. And it hit, and then we had to do it remotely. It worked out well. Production sounds great, but all being in our remote booths, isolated, separated, is not the same vibe.
And it was actually
we figured it out.
It was in the end. Yeah, because now we can direct each other.
Yeah, there's apps for everything.
Yeah. So we had to
Sadly enough.
figure it out, and actually now we're better for it because now we can direct sessions with each other,
Yes.
and you know, online. Still working on the dream of being able to all record in the same place and
Ah,
be with each other, and you know,
so
play
good.
off each other and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, I'm working on it right now. By the way, this booth is not going to be my booth for much longer. That will be my booth
Ooh.
behind me.
That
That whole bedroom.
I
So
always make a joke that it's the bathroom that you're pointing to,
it's the
and
bathroom,
that's very appropriate with how you became the sound
right?
booth theater.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
All
mean,
ties in, people.
it will happen someday.
Took me a second to.
So are you
It will
converting
happen someday,
the
but
whole room into like a soundproofed, sound treated oasis of sound?
yes, that's what's gonna
Awesome.
happen. So and
Oh, it's
it's
gonna be
11
so nice
by
to have that
the room
room.
is 11 by 11. So I mean,
Ah,
it's
Inches.
gonna be nice.
you're gonna have like
Right.
9 microphones just around you and be like, I think I'll record over here today.
Yeah.
Maybe
Or you
over
just
here.
get in a circle. We're gonna make it after all.
Right.
Whew.
Exactly. I'll be able to do
Yeah, just
all of it.
get 7 more Telefunkins there and
Oh, right.
Yeah, there we go.
You know.
$200,000 later.
All right. So what's the next question? What we got here?
Then we got into the games. Another Daniel Cook.
Oh.
Do you ever have that moment? Oh, wait, here we go. Seth Petra. How many licks to the center of a soda pop, Jeff?
In a can or a bottle?
Oh, I think she means like
Oh.
a ice cream soda pop, like a
Popsicle? A soda
popsicle, like
popsicle on a
Soda
stick?
pop? Like a
a
popsicle?
soda pop.
Because
How
the
many
answer to
licks
that
to the
is like
center?
3, clearly.
Is there such
It
thing
is
as a
3.
soda pop, like an effervescent, fizzy, iced confection?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be fizzy. You'll have
That'd be
like
good.
I'm sure there's cola
Fizzy
flavored
ice cream?
popsicles out there. Or root
Popping
beer.
candy within it. I
Root
hate
beer.
that stuff.
Really? I
Pop
love
rocks?
shit.
When I don't know it's in there, if it's in chocolate and I take a bite of the chocolate thinking, yum, chocolate, and
Wait,
my tongue starts going,
I've never heard of
Psych,
Pop Rocks.
fireworks.
fuck you, man.
I've never heard
I hate
of
when it's like Birdie Bots every flavor.
Yeah.
Different gustatory sensations with every bite.
Okay, so what's next? It's
the Daniel Cook question.
Daniel Cook. Do you ever have that moment in the booth where you are trying to narrate a specific part and just lose it with laughter? How many takes did it take to get past that? What moment was it? Okay.
Oh God.
Oof. Oh, I have a
Okay, so this happens to me all the time, and Everybody Loves Large Chests. Okay, all
No
the
doubt.
fucking time. But the best moment, I have to go back to Harmon Cooper and back to Quantum Hughes. The communist cherub in book 5 of Feedback Loop. I think it's book 5. It's either 5 or 6. I did those back to back. But that scene, I literally was.
Did you
in
send
my
us a
booth.
clip of that?
I might have. I
Hey,
was literally in the booth.
wrinkly bitch.
No, that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Oh,
That was for Archemy Online.
that one, I listened to that a few times.
Yeah.
These nuts.
Oh yeah.
So but yeah, this was another Quantum Hughes part where there's this communist cherub that they run into, and just the things that he says are so fucking hilarious. I was literally in the booth for about 30 minutes and just like hadn't recorded anything. I was just crying with laughter. So yes, communist cherub, Feedback loop, either book 5 or 6, I can't remember. But yeah, that's my moment.
I had it in a book that was not funny. It was actually in like it was in a part where there was death all around. There was the main character could see someone he loved was wasting away in a cage outside of the castle walls. And it's just like, this is terrible. This scene is so fucking dark and like grim. And then there was something, the line was something along the lines of, these people got strung up because they bared their arses to the king or something like that. And something about saying bared their arses in a Scottish accent. I fucking lost it. And like the scene was like later on, I cried during that scene because it was so fucking sad. But that part, I was like, "This is ridiculous. Why am I laughing? I shouldn't be laughing." But something caught in my head and just went the wrong way, and I couldn't record it. I couldn't record that line for ages. I skipped it completely
There
and
are some,
recorded the rest, and then went back when I wouldn't start laughing the second I got to it because you'd hear the lead up, and you're like, "Nope, nope, can't do it." It's the worst feeling. It's like corpsing when you're on stage or something. You're just like, you don't want to be laughing, but you cannot stop.
yeah. It's when it's when that thing catches in your
Oh,
brain. It's usually, I have to admit that it's mostly when other people are around that I get that feeling. When I'm alone in the booth, it's generally just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a funny line. Like on some level, I'm registering like, oh, that was really great. I'll message James about that. Oh, that was funny. Blah, blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. But I do remember one book that was translated from a different language that was just like, it was really like high octane action, just like go 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 go. And some of the translations that made it into the English version, I'd be going through my narration, blah blah blah, and then there's this one line that was like, I peed myself a little, and it's just like, oh, okay. And there were just a lot of lines that I mean, that was a clear thing. Like, it was a character expressing their not really fear, something. They were expressing something, and it just didn't fit. But but it fit so well. It was. And then there's just other lines that would come in that just like the turns of phrases that just, I can't remember any specific examples, but I'm like, how do I deliver this line and like, and have it work well? And they would just catch me. They would catch me. The not quite their English,
English.
Yeah.
English.
English, yes. That's one of my favorite things to encounter as a narrator. Like, I just, it's just too hilarious. Like,
Yeah. I know what they're trying to say here. Do I change it to that, or do I just say the original line and just put meaning into it?
right. It's a tough decision to make, but it's always the funnier decision to play it straight.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So let's. How much time do we have? Do we have time for 3 more questions? 2?
Let's do 3 more. I'm good for 3 more. Yeah.
Okay. So these are from Daniel Cook. Still, what made you want to start voice acting? So since I'm asking the questions, we'll start with Gary, and I'll go last.
Okay. I'm kind of like typical in that, like, all my life I wanted to be an actor, but
Lame.
never ever thought it could be something you could make money from, so never pursued it because I don't know, I had a bad attitude towards it. I was just like, oh well, it's only ever going to be a hobby for me. But then I went to Japan to teach English because my degree was in Japanese, and I'm very good at Japanese, so I couldn't get a real job in Japanese. So I went there, taught English for 5 years, and in the 5th year, I was like, I hate teaching. It sucks. I don't want to do it ever. And I was like, you know what I do want to do? I've been listening to lots of audiobooks. I love them. I think I could probably do that. I like microphones. Yeah, I was just like, you know what? Why would I sit here doing something I hate and I'm not that good at? And like, it was a 9 to 5, and I never took my work home with me. Like, never. I was just like, I don't fucking care. So what? But then I found myself, I would wake up at 6 a.m., 5 a.m. just to take audiobook classes in America via Skype, like looking forward to it. I'd be like, oh, this is fucking awesome. Like, that I get to just take classes with this guy and maybe someday record an audiobook. And just from there, yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a real go at this and do something I actually love doing. So yeah, that's what I wanted to be an actor. I liked doing it. Never thought I could make money at it until I hated doing something else and was just like, yep, I'm gonna go try do something. And luckily it's been working, so hopefully we'll keep that up.
This may be an ignorant question, Gary, but if is there like a cohort of English speaking Japanese people who speak with an Irish accent because you were their teacher?
Well, I did
That's a great
teach
question.
a 5th grade, 6th grade class. They were a combined class because
Yeah.
I heard my friend had taught her class "bitch please" as a thing. She was like, you say they say this, and you say
Very
"bitch
important.
please." So I was like, "Fuck it!" I wrote a whole script of like the students were just like they say, "What's the crack?" Which in Ireland's like, "How are you?" "Oh, I'm fine, and yourself?" And it was very funny to hear them speak Irish English for a bit. But
That's
no,
hilarious.
mostly they don't listen to me.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But there's
I
children.
I can't wait to encounter a Japanese person
Yeah.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
and have bitch
What's
please.
cracking? Bitch, please.
Genki desu ka? Bitch please. Man, the students were the best part, I must say.
Oh, yeah.
For
So
sure, I
funny,
imagine.
so like
The-
so fucking interesting and
Have you ever
yeah.
have you ever taught anywhere else besides Japan?
no, not as like an
You,
actual teacher in a
you
school, no.
you would probably hate it even more because
I can
Oh,
imagine, yeah.
People are probably like the best students ever.
Nah, they're little shits. They're just like
Really?
any other yeah, they're like all
Really?
children. They're like little shits. And sometimes
Oh.
they're really funny little shits, like any child, I suppose, and other times it's just like, "You are annoying me.
yeah. But
Shut up, shut up."
working within a system that allows you to teach your kids bitch please, I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
a special thing, and should be honored.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
wouldn't change it. I would still have done everything exactly the same because like I loved my time over there and I made great friends, like loved the majority of the students I taught. Just knew that job wasn't for me and I definitely was not going to flourish doing it in another country.
And that is also how you met your wife, right?
It is how I met my wife. Yeah, she is a Texan lady and we met over there, I think in my 3rd year, her first, and then I'm in Texas.
Yep.
Woo.
nice.
Good
All
times.
right, Justin, let's hear it.
What made me want to start voice acting? Well, I grew up with audiobooks. My dad would take me to the library when I was a kiddo, and we would pick out cassettes. They were books on tape at that point, and I loved listening to them. I remember like listening with my brother to audio dramas of Ray Bradbury. That I was like 7, and I'm listening to these like deep psychological kind of thrillers, and I loved it. I always loved it. I thought it was really cool. And when I was how I kind of got into it, it did start as a hobby, but I took a course on recording, just a free online course, and it was mostly for music because I wanted to, be able to record myself playing piano. And recording music can be such a tedious nightmare,
Oh
and
yeah.
it is not. I've discovered very quickly that making music your main practice for recording, it wasn't really about the music, it was just to practice recording. I would just get frustrated because I'm learning all of this recording stuff and that's the main focus, but I also can't play the damn music because I'm not as good as I want to be. And it just frustrated me to try to sync up the timing and do all the stuff to make music sound good. So I wanted something simpler, and I realized that just reading books was a much more manageable thing to just practice my recording chops on. And so yeah, I just started taking books. I started with this Herman Hesse, the Siddhartha.
Love that book.
It is a great book. It is a fantastic book. Yeah, and I would just record it. Oh, I've got a bookmark in here as well. Blink. I've got a list of books to read. Blink by Malcolm Gladwell and Dan Millman. Anyways, yeah, so I just started recording chapters in Siddhartha and then moving on to taking friends who were writers who had written little like short stories. Harlan Guthrie, actually, who's done some work with Sound Booth, was writing some short stories at the time, some of which have been featured on Creepypasta, or not Creepypasta, No Sleep podcast. And so I just narrated a couple of those, put them on our YouTube channel, bada bing, bada boom. And yeah, and then from there, I just discovered more and more of a passion. And it naturally, as far as where the voice acting went, it naturally gravitated towards audiobooks. Um,
Same.
especially when Jeff got me my first gig. So thank you, Jeff.
Rock. Okay, so me, I don't know that I never thought as a young person I want to be a voice actor specifically. So I actually had the same experience as a little kid as you did, Justin, and I didn't even realize it until like late last year that
Hmm.
my mom used to take me to the public library and we would find those. I don't know if they were like this for you, but at our library, it was like a clothes rack. That
Oh.
was all
Oh
full
yeah,
of
bags.
yeah, with
The
plastic
bags. Yeah, yeah,
bags
yeah.
that had hooks on them, and so
Yeah.
all of those, and I would pick up like the Bernstein Bears and like
Yep.
all these little kid books that were full of audio dramas. They had music, they had sound effects, they were creepy, they were fun, and I listened to so many of those. And
Mhm.
I was so young, I guess I didn't even remember it until my mom mentioned it to me last year that
Hmm.
she took me to do those to listen to those. I was like, oh yeah, and I loved them.
Fucking A.
I
Fucking
loved
A.
it.
That
So
is
I mean,
awesome.
that was like the spark, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
But when I was a little kid, all the way up until high school, I wanted to be an actor, and then I wanted to be a director, and then I found music, and I was like, oh fuck that
Mm.
shit. Like I mean, I was in band. I was in public school band, and I hated music at that time because they were making me do it, and I was reading stuff, and it was lame music. So I was really happy to be done with it by the time I got to high school, and I hated music. I had decided, and then I just like rediscovered it and was like, oh wait, no, it doesn't suck. It's awesome. And then one of my buddies, they had a band, and their bassist left. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, these are just guys I'm getting high with and hanging out with. And I was just like, I don't know, I'll give it a shot. And I just absolutely loved it. I picked it up. I never looked back after that. And so from then on, I was on the music career path, which is a mistake. I think, like, for almost anyone, it's a mistake, right? Because, dude, music is not easy to monetize. You have to, like, in my opinion, your best chance of getting a music career is by doing it by commission, right? You get
Or
hired
session
Mhm.
to make
musicians or
music for a specific purpose that some other larger operation is using to supplement their own bigger piece of art, right?
Mhm.
But back then, when I was pursuing it, I was like completely stubborn. I was like, I want to make the music I want to make, and that's all I care about. And so I just had this band, right? And it was like very heady, like jazz fusion type stuff. And it was good, actually. I like to talk shit about it, but actually when I go back and listen to it, I'm like, wait, this is actually legit music. But no one cares. No one cares about legit music except musicians.
Mhm.
And musicians don't have enough money because you can't get paid making music, right? So
Right.
I mean,
eventually
there are
I
ways, but the difficulty level is way up there.
yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
level you have to achieve as a musician, you can't just be good. You have to be, I mean, amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to be lucky on top of it. Being
Exactly.
amazing is not
Yeah.
Yeah.
enough even.
So I mean I kind of gave up on that dream, kind of. Um I decided, you know what, this isn't gonna get me where I want to go. Um I eh, I don't want to be doing maintenance for apartments anymore either.
Mm.
So I just kind of did whatever I could on the internet. I found whatever odd jobs I could, and then I just found voice acting, and I discovered I was good at it, and that I could get better, and that I really loved it. So I just kept
Mm.
going, and then just along the way, it just started occurring to me in the same way that the revelation about me listening to audio dramas when I was this big, that I've been kind of setting myself up for this the whole time. And now I'm just like, why would I do anything else? I am comfortable here. I
Mhm.
think this is my it may not be my favorite skill, but it's definitely this my best skill. So hell, no reason to look back. and it's led me to study other voice actors and gain
Mm.
a new appreciation for actors I'd seen on film who actually were voice actors and probably even better at voice acting than on screen acting. Um, and it's just too cool. It's too cool, and especially like with this right here, it's gonna be harder for me to get roles, right?
A face for radio is what they
Face for
say.
radio, right? So it's much easier to it's much easier to be confident, and you don't have to
Oh
care
yeah,
what you look like at all, right? You
Nope,
can play
not in the
you can
slightest.
play the opposite sex, you can play different races, you can
you can
play
be the
different species.
leading role, support role, the evil villain. Like,
Yeah, yeah. The amount of range that you get to explore as a narrator is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Not as
We're
much
really lucky.
glory. Not as much glory as being a movie star,
No,
clearly, right?
no, but I
Even
mean,
being a stage actor, there's more glory than
God no.
being a
tons of
narrator or a voice
fun though.
tons of fun for sure, but I think we have it best, man, because we get the biggest range. We get the most roles,
Mm,
right? And we get to stretch ourselves and challenge ourselves more, I think,
yeah.
on a regular basis.
And
So,
then you get into stuff like, being able to compose music for the books that we produce, or
right, it all
which we all have done actually.
Yeah,
Um, and sound effects as well, just exploring different creative skill sets.
right.
It just it's very satisfying on a creative level.
It all came full circle, man. It really
Full
did,
circle.
at least for me. All right,
I'll say, man,
let's do one more question, and then I gotta get out of here.
same.
Let's see. It was one that Danny Cook just did. How much does it mean to you to see listeners dropping into your voice channels on Discord? Do you enjoy the interaction, or is it more of a distraction when you're really getting into a rhythm?
Shall I go first,
Ooh,
or
Yeah,
Justin? You want to go first? But it's great. I mean, I think that would, for me anyway, that's the reason I go into my booth on Discord, is to hopefully have people come in and join and have fun. And um, I don't think it might make the task of narrating longer because you're interacting with people, but I don't think any of us would get into that booth thinking, "Oh, pesky people bothering me." I mean,
right. Yeah.
please come hang out with us. I mean, and I suppose a question for you: do you want to see us in there more? Like, do you want a set schedule? Like, would you come and join us more if we were in there more? But yeah, no, I fucking love it. I just specifically go in the hopes, and I like tell people, notification squad, come join. Yeah, no, it's great. Doesn't might make the hour, might make you might do less for me anyway. I might do less
Yeah.
narration, but I'll have a ton more fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the trade-off. That is the trade-off. I've noticed as well, there are some times where it's I some stretches where I don't go into the booth because I just have too much on my
Deadline.
plate. I can't afford. Yeah, exactly. But when I do, I love seeing people jump in. I feel like it also elevates my performance on a level. Like it just kind of fuels the fire to have an audience and to have a bit of kind of receptive feedback going on, and also it just feels great to connect with you guys, because you guys care about what we do, we care about what we do, and we care about you guys because you care. It all just feels really good to have that connection with people who are enjoying what I as an artist am doing. So yes, please, if you ever see me in the booth, jump in. And yeah, like Gary was saying too. Like Gary was saying too, setting a schedule too, if that's something that is interesting to you guys. Yeah, we might be able to set something up.
yeah. For me, well, I guess this gets to a meta level here, right? If we're really answering the question, how did Sound Booth Theater start, and we're not bullshitting, this is how Sound Booth Theater started. This show, right? This
I
is
remember you doing that when it was just you.
I just decided, hey, let me try this. I found Periscope. Periscope was
Oh,
my
yeah.
first my first concept of streaming something live was Periscope, and it was shit, but it was my, it was my first experience of it, and I was like, what do I call this? This is a show, right? I'm in a sound booth. It's kind of like going to the sound booth theater live, right? Um, and it's such a different experience. So I'm used to being, I'm used to performing on stage. I love performing on stage, playing music. And I missed it dearly. And when I had people come in and watch me narrate for the first time, I got a lot of that same feeling, that
Hmm.
being there to
Hmm.
entertain.
Yep.
And the fact that people were coming to listen to me was very flattering. It really
Yeah.
boosted my ego. Seeing people come on a regular basis was just like, I loved it, and that's why I just kept going, and that's what made me realize voice acting being kind of a lonely profession. This is the
Oh
cure.
yeah.
Letting
Hmm.
people in, not just letting an audience in, but making the show bigger, making the
Yeah.
troops bigger, right? So yeah, that's kind of how this all started, guys. Is you coming to listen to us uh perform live, listen to us narrate live, and listen to us fuck up and try things and cuss at
Say
ourselves
say fuck.
over. Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Gary.
That's why
I
people come to my booth.
Right. Okay, so it's the cussing. I think you and Andy Parsnow,
I
like
Yeah.
have.
that.
I
Andy's
can
great.
imagine she
Oh,
rocks a good cuss word.
dude, go listen to Andy in her booth sometime. It's fucking hilarious. So I mean, that's part of it. It's just it's you guys are why we're here. You guys are why this life is possible, because you enjoy what we do. So yes, it's very distracting to have you there. You post memes in the chat, and I would never trade it for anything. I mean, obviously, like Justin said, if I know I have lots of shit to do and I just can't, then I have to regretfully not get into the
Mm.
Discord booth and just hammer it out. But if I have the time, I much prefer having you guys around so that I have people to bounce voices off of. Is this a good
Mm.
idea? What do you guys think of this?
Well
And
said. Well said.
I get to watch you guys make fun of me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that. I love that.
We all need that too.
Yeah,
We all
absolutely.
need that too.
Yeah, we need that dose of humility, and it's never, I think if I was told I could never stream narration again, I don't know if I would keep going for very long. I'd be like, all right, this is lost. It's kind of lost its
Yeah.
charm.
Yeah.
It's kind of lost that live performance feeling, which is what I missed from music maybe the most. So yeah, thank you guys for being here, for being
Indeed.
in our booths on our Discord server when we're narrating, keeping us company. I imagine some of you feel like we're keeping you company on your days of work, when you're listening to our
Hope
audio.
so.
So thank
Hmm.
you for returning the favor, really. And yeah, I guess that's the Q&A. I wish we could answer more questions, but I got
I know. Well, we'll definitely do this again. Maybe this is something.
Yeah.
This is a segment we can bring back. Daniel Cook, thank you very much for making this list of questions. I'm really excited to do it again and explore more of these.
Yeah, there are lots more on there, so plenty of fodder.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And yeah, Ahmed, do you want to play us